entertainment bit.
I'm rolling.
Okay. Jeff, I've been telling you how I am a Woody Allen fan, and I was really looking forward to the Purple Rose of Cairo, and I just loved it. As a movie buff, and I've been a movie fan, I guess, all my life, but I think that it's for people who are just even casual moviegoers. I think there's something, well, there's a lot there for people to enjoy. But I wonder about you. Did you grow up being a movie buff?
Yeah, I grew up in Michigan and did a lot of high school musicals and college musicals and plays, things like that, but it was always movies. It was always, you know, Dog Day Afternoon, the Pacino film. I mean, I'd see it 6 times in a row and twice in one day just to go study him. And I've been going to movies for a long. It was always film. I mean, I went to New York instead of L.A., but it was always eventually to do film, and it's worked out.
Hasn't it?
Yes, it certainly has.
Hasn't it? This particular role, was there anything, it's a dual role, we'll make that point as we cut in the clips, but was there anything that you were particularly afraid of in doing this role?
Yeah, I didn't know how to do the 2 people in one film, and so I fell into the trap.
Let's start over again, just because we had all that crashing around. Just start over. Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't know how to do the 2 people in one film, and so I fell into the trap of trying to make them different. And what I found out after, you know, we did Gil for the first 4 days of shooting, and that Gil came easily. I've always wanted to send up the actor who was too serious, among other things. But Tom Baxter, the movie character who comes off the screen, is kind of, you know, with all that poetic language and how do you play, you know, 1930s. It was tricky. So I tried to make them different. Wrong. What we found out was that try to make them the same. And by trying to make them the same, you find out their differences, and the differences are subtle. So it was more interesting, and you couldn't make them. It's like with Flap Horton with Terms of Endearment. No matter how hard I tried, he was not going to be the hero, and he was not going to be totally likable. He just and sympathetic. He wasn't going to be that. But it was a more interesting approach as an actor. So that was hard. That was tricky. But once we figured that out, then it was just kind of like working 2 jobs at once, you know. Now I'm doing Tom, now I'm doing Gil.
Did Woody help you a lot with that, or did you just kind of have to work it out yourself?
Woody and I never talked to each other off the set. I mean, if it was director-actor, he was always there for you, but there was no 2-hour discussions before. There were no 2-hour discussions before the scene. I would basically just show up with all my ideas that I'd worked out in the first 2 takes. And that would be the first time I really had conversations with Woody about whether we were in the right direction or not. And usually I was, because the script was pretty self-explanatory, but you know, sometimes I'd go off and he would step right in and say, no, try, you know, just, and he would help. But he doesn't over-direct. What he does is he'll come in and he'll say, sometimes he won't say anything for the whole morning, and you're on to the next scene. And it's, no news is good news. And don't take it personally that he didn't stroke you between each take. You know, I don't need that anyway. But he'll come up and he'll say, okay, let's do, no, we've got that now. Let's try one a little less angry, you know. And then he'll go back behind the camera. And some actors, not all, but some actors would go, what less? What do you mean less angry? I mean, could you be more vague? I mean, you know, they'd get ticked off about that. But you know, I'll do the details. You just tell me what direction. And he was real good at that. He's quiet. He's unassuming. He doesn't need to remind the people on the set that someone wrote that he was a genius last week. You know, he doesn't. He's above that. He's like Nicholson. He showed up on terms, and Jack was like, "What do you want me to do?" You know, and Brooks was like, "Wait a minute, I thought you were going to be difficult." He goes, "What do you want me to wave like this, or do you want me to wave like this, or what do you know? Pick one." And it was easy. You know, the good people are good, but they're, I've found, you know, easy. So in the sense, what Woody was like. The harshest thing he ever said to me was, I tried something in the middle of a take, and he cut it in the middle, and he came up to me and he said, well, that was fine. I don't think we'll use it. So why don't we just try to do, and that was it. So that encourages you to take a lot of chances, and a lot of those chances are in the final version.
Do you like everything you see on screen? His choices?
Yeah, his choices, yeah. There's always one or, something, that I didn't like about what I did, but it's the one thing I don't like that I did. It still gets a big laugh, so I don't care. It worked. I got away with it. Even though I wasn't, it worked.
You don't want to tell me what it is?
No, because it's stupid.
Okay. Now, this has to be 180 degrees from Jim Brooks, because in talking with Shirley MacLaine at great length, I find out, you're laughing already.
Yes.
I find out that Brooks likes a lot of conflict and a lot going on and everything, and the way Shirley explained it was that he works good that way. So how the contrast of those two directors, what did you do to adjust to that?
Jim and I never had any conflicts at all. Jim and I got along terrifically. I don't agree. I think she's wrong. Maybe that's how she works better, is to do that. But I don't. Jim and I never had any conflicts about Flap Horton. Jim was on his first movie, so he was awkward. Didn't know how to sit on the camera. Didn't know how to use the stuff. And Woody has been doing it for a lot of years and knows how to just jump right on there and do it. Both of them, the similarities I found is that comically, they have great creative ideas. I mean, when Woody Allen starts working off the top of his head, the 24 hours in an Egyptian tomb speech was something. He said, I think we need something, and he walked away and just wrote it down. He said, could you possibly, memorize this? And I did, and that's a key part of the film. Jim likes to improvise a lot too, but I trusted Jim on what was funny and what wasn't, and as I did with Woody. Woody just has more experience. See, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. That you got to fight to. I just did a movie with Sissy Spacek, and I had a scene where I had to scream at her and just really lay her out. And I don't buy the fact that you have. I don't buy the idea, the theory, the technique that you have to scream at the director and the crew and the makeup person for 2 hours before you do the first take. I don't. I'd like to. I think you can just be ready, and then when the first take comes, I mean, I did the sound man, did that, but that's the one they printed. Then they said cut. Then the director came over, and Sissy was saying, well, it worked for me. And he came over and he kind of approached me like I was going to take his head off, and I said, what would you like? What else? What was wrong? What could I do differently? I'd like to think that that's the way to approach it. It's a lot more fun to go to work that way without conflict.
What is this basic movie?
Thing called Marie. Marie, a true story, is based on the Peter Moss book. State government of Tennessee in the mid-70s was selling paroles, clemencies, and 60 Minutes did a piece on it, and she just was hired into the state government and found out about it, was put on the parole board and blew the whistle on them. People went to jail, and the guy I play was the legal counsel to the governor, Eddie Sisk, this guy I play, and he's in jail.
And who directed that?
Roger Donaldson, who did The Bounty and Smash Pals.
Now, do you have other projects coming up at Liberty?
I don't. I mean, I've got a couple people that are interested, and they're real good people and good projects, but I haven't even met them yet. But it's just, once I get done with the Purple Rose tour, then I'm gonna, we'll talk to you when we get back. But it's good. They're good people, and I'm set up beautifully. I got, including the Sissy movie, which is this fall. I mean, I've worked with the best people. So I think I don't have to do any coming-of-age movies, teen films.
I don't usually ask people, but since you brought it up, what is your age?
30, just turned. I spent my 30th birthday, which I thought was going to be fairly traumatic, in the MGM Grand Hotel in Vegas. The studio had sent me out to represent Purple Rose of Cairo at this convention of theater owners. So I was in there. We were honoring Arnold Schwarzenegger as International Star of the Year.
That's some celebration. That is some...
Happy 30th birthday.
I love it. Were there many people considered for your role in Purple Rose?
I would say most of both coasts. I know that.
Wait, let's start just a second. Hold it just a second. Okay. Okay, let's try again. Were there many people considered for your role?
Michael Keaton was doing it originally, and oh, he would too.
This is just...
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost better if there's a lot of noise rather than just one
Oh,
voice.
well, yeah, you keep going if you want.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so. Okay, let's have one more go at it. Oh, Lord, now we're on the page. Okay.
This is like working at Dino De Laurentiis studios in North Carolina. There's sound stages that shouldn't be sound stages. They should be barns for storing hay, because they built them right at the end of a runway in Wilmington, North Carolina, and you're doing your close-up, and all of a sudden it's, you know, the military base, the Air Force base nearby just kind of goes over and you shut down. We're doing a courtroom scene in this Marie thing. They allow 7 days for it or something. I mean, it's a 3-day courtroom scene. It's courtroom scene. You've got angle shots. It took them 2 weeks, almost a little over 2 weeks maybe. And they were furious at Roger. They couldn't figure out why it was taking so long. You know,
Why would
somebody
they-
coughs outside. The Year of the Dragon was being filmed on the same lot, and with Mickey Rourke, and Michael Cimino was the director. And it was just there was a Chinese fireworks celebration, so that was in a Chinese, you know, a funeral march, and they had a Chinatown, you know, set over there, and it was just, you know, we were about ready, guilty or not guilty, and it was bum 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 bum, some funeral march, cut.
Okay.
But it's cheaper to work down there for Dino.
Oh, but
Anyway,
please.
so Michael Keaton was doing it originally, and he, after 2 weeks, I don't know the reason, I honestly don't. I know that they split. Woody said it's not working out, and Michael, I think, said I don't feel good in the role or something, so they separated. And he tested a lot of people. He, you know, Kevin Kline and Dennis Quaid, and Eric Roberts was coming out as I was going in. And Juliet Taylor, who was the casting director for Terms and several Woody movies, you know, Terms had been out for 3 weeks, and everybody was excited, and Juliet said, you should also see this kid, Jeff Daniels. So I went in and met Woody. The initial meeting didn't go too well. I was nervous. And then he said, well, I'll give you a test anyway. So I think as a favor to Juliet, he tested me that afternoon, and I got it.
Terrific. What scene did you do for the test?
Ferris wheel scene with the popcorn and the scene on the porch about, you know, Star and try to carry it, which is actually a combination of 2 scenes, so one of those scenes.
Well, Jeff, good luck to you. Not that you're off and running. You should feel real good about your career at this stage of the game, because you're still able to do some stage work, which is wonderful, and movie career is going great. So thank you for coming on tour and stopping by to see us.
Sure.